Sometimes on this YouTube journey, I do get the odd pinch me moment, and this is one of them. If you bought any of the white lenses during the OM System promotional period a few weeks ago, you lucky ducks, these lenses are amazing. You were also put into a prize draw to win a trip to Namibia safari with OM System, and with me, I'm going on safari. So I thought I would go through my packing tips, what I'm taking, and some tips for safari in general, as this ain't my first rodeo. Some of this kit I am lucky to own, and some of this kit has been loaned to me for the trip. I've got some goodies. First tip. Dust on safari is the enemy, and it's one of the main reasons why I always recommend taking 2 camera bodies so that you don't have to switch lenses when you're out and about. I'm taking 2 OM1 Mark IIs, which, you know, weather sealed, dust proof, perfect for all your burst modes, your pro capture. Couldn't think of a better camera body for this trip, and having 2 of them is just icing on the cake. I could use my OM3 for this, but I think sort of ergonomically the OM1 Mark II is a little bit more comfortable for those long stretches where I might have my eye to the eyepiece. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. For my main 2 lenses, I'm going to take big white and little white. So this covers pretty much most of the focal lengths that I should be concerned with. The little white is 50-200 f2.8. Beautiful lens. I took this on a seal watching trip when it first came out and absolutely fell in love with the blooming thing.
Tiny little seals, testing out the stabilization on the rocket mode.
And of course, big white, big and white, is 150-400 f4.5, but it does have the built-in teleconverter as well, which sacrifices a bit of the aperture, but gives you a little bit more reach. I took this to the Faroe Islands, puffin hunting, not in the bad way, in the photography way, and it just blew me away. I came home thinking, like, I should just sell my car and buy this instead, but then I thought if I didn't have a car, I wouldn't be able to get to many cool places. Thankfully, OM System have loaned me this. I can't afford this. I wish I could. If little white is slightly out of your budget, when I went to Kenya, I used the Olympus 40-150 f2.8 Pro, and that did me proud as well. It's a little bit smaller. Little white has a little bit more reach because this goes to 200mm, but both are very, very good indeed. One thing I quickly learned on safari the last time I went is because you're driving around so often, there's no room for tripods or monopods in my experience. Some of the people I was with decided to use bean bags, in fact, and just lean them onto the Jeep, and then you could like lean your lens on it, which is a really good option. But I think thankfully, because most Micro Four Third kit, even the bigger stuff for the focal length you get, is quite light, it's not the end of the world if you have to handhold. The OM1 Mark II has stabilization for days, and they have Sync IS with the Pro lenses, so there's plenty of times where I'll be hand holding, but it won't be too bad. But a beanbag is always a good option. I'm praying for clear skies because there's going to be a night or two where we're out on a tent top on the vehicle. What is my life? So I'm going to take this sort of stock lens, which is the 12-40 f2.8 Pro. Probably just about wide enough for some astrophotography if I do get the chance, and just for more standard focal lengths, because another tip for safari is you can sometimes get closer to animals than you think. You know, sometimes we imagine that it's always going to be this all the time, and then there was sometimes, the last time I went, where the animals were really close to the vehicle. So having quite a standard focal length can always be handy. If I don't want to change lenses and I have these 2 on, I'm also going to take my Ace Pro 2, which is a nice wide angle focal length, which will be good if anything gets close. I also really like images from inside the vehicles as well. It's a good way to frame things, and I got some good stuff like that the last time I went. And in terms of composition, and I was quite guilty of this as well, when I first saw a big cat or an elephant, I wanted to get that typical portrait shot of just the face, when sometimes the best shot you can get is including the environment and the surroundings, and I think adding context to the scene and shooting it maybe like a landscape photograph that just happens to have animals in can be really compelling. And some of my favourite shots are the wider shots rather than the zoomed in ones. And don't forget lifestyle photos as well. We are here to look for animals, but you're in a gorgeous part of the world. There may be sunrise hot air balloons. You may get an amazing photograph of your guide if the animals aren't playing ball. Things like that are just as important because it's such a great opportunity to have this experience in this great, gorgeous place, and the animals are there as well. Nuts and boltsy things that I think are quite essential for this kind of trip. We have tons of spare batteries, and I do have a power bank as well. So both of the OM ones that I'm taking have USB-C, so I can charge it on the go as well if I need to. But I'll have 5 batteries with me, and I label them as well so that once I know that one's empty, I can put it in my bag and I can charge them overnight and keep organised. Also, something that I highly recommend for a lot of these trips is getting a headlamp. You look super cool wearing them. This one also has a red light, so that if I'm shooting astrophotography or even if I'm just going for a wee in the night, I won't lose my night vision, because if you have red light, you don't blind yourself and you can still retain your night vision. This is my well-battered travel journal. I've spoken about this before on this channel and I take it everywhere with me, and I think photographs are obviously a great way to remember things, but having a little bit of like your own handwriting, having little Polaroids in here, I think it's really worth doing. I'll link in the description the one that I use. You can just put like refillable pads in as it fills up on your travels if you're lucky enough to get enough travels to fill it up, and it's a great little keepsake. I love reading this back actually when I'm feeling sad and it's raining in the UK. For backing up and content creator stuff, I am taking my handy dandy iPad Pro. I made a video about this recently if you want to see how I use this when I'm on my travels. It's one of the best things I've ever bought. Love it. And I pair that with these 2 tiny little things. It's a tiny little card reader and the teeny tiniest little hard drive. This is a 2 terabyte Lexar hard drive. It just slips into the bottom of the iPad, and then I can back everything up onto this and also edit my photos using Lightroom, edit my videos in DaVinci. It's a great little setup. I will be taking my trusty, stupidly light K&F Concept travel tripod. I've taken this on so many little trips now. It's super duper cheap and it's great. Not good for like big lenses, like I ain't putting big white on this anytime soon, but if I want to just capture myself with even my phone, it's absolutely ideal for travel. I'm not taking a drone. In fact, I don't even know if it would be allowed in the national parks, so not taking a drone. I'm going to take a 360 camera. This is the Insta360 X5. Yeah, you can stick this out in the window. I did this last time when I was in Kenya and it was very convincing indeed. Who needs a drone, eh, when you've got one of these? I'm not sure which bag I'm using yet. I have 2 to choose from. I have this horrible one. It's an F-stop bag and it's absolutely huge. I did need to take this the last time I went to the Faroe Islands because I had a big white with me. Oh no, am I actually going to have to take this? It's the most expensive bag I've ever bought. I think it was about 400 quid. And I just think it's bulky and stressful. Everything's jingle jangly. I just really, really don't like it. I'm sorry, F-stop. I'm sure it's a good product for some people, but it's not for me. I only use that one if I absolutely have to. The bag that I would prefer to take is this Pocket Ranger, which I might get away with. Ooh, got some Haribo in here. Amazing. Yeah, it's got like a cool little insert. Oh, I was looking for that as well. It's weather sealed, it's nice. You can compress the top or make it a little bit bigger. And there is a full insert on the inside as well. I like that it has shoulder and neck straps when you have heavier equipment in it. I don't know if I'm going to get away with fitting everything into this, but my goodness, I'm going to try. One more composition tip if you are going on safari is, I was very guilty of this, is as soon as you see an animal, it can be like, it's so exciting. There is a leopard, for example, or a cheetah. Composition and basic photography fundamentals just went out the window because I was so excited. One thing to really keep your eye on is where your horizon is in the scene. If you have it like slicing through animals' necks, it's just not a good composition. You need to try and angle your camera sort of up or down to make the background more unified in my experience. I think that makes the composition much stronger and less distracting. And of course, you know, wonky horizons, we don't want to do that. Now, when it comes to kit, I have a controversial-ish opinion on whether we should rush out and buy new shiny things, because yes, sometimes we'll book a safari and think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, let's splash some cash, and I totally see that. But if you sort of pick up a new camera, say you're going on safari in a week and you pick up a new OM1 Mark II, you won't have enough time before you go to really get to grips with it. And if you're out and about still trying to learn your settings and your function buttons, I think you could run the risk of missing important shots and coming away frustrated. So I would say if you are looking to upgrade or add to your kit, if you are going on a once-in-a-lifetime trip, do it like at least a month before. Maybe book a few trips to a local zoo or a local park. There's loads of different things that we can do to sort of train before we go. Because if you go out there in a high-pressure environment and you see something that you're desperate to see and you don't know your settings, it's not good. In that situation, you'd be better off with your older camera that you know inside out and at least can use without thinking. Yes, new equipment, but make sure you blooming know how to use it before you go. Lenses, less so. Grab that the day before you go. Have a great time. So I'm super duper excited for this trip. By the time I put this on YouTube, I'll probably be on my way. So if you would like to see what I get up to, follow me on Instagram. I'll be posting stories every day, and I'm doing an OM Systems social media takeover one of the days as well, so I'll do a proper little day in the life with you. If you've been on safari, share some of your best tips in the comments, because it's something that I think every photographer wants to try at least once, probably. And when we do, we want to be as informed as possible. And I'm very excited. Did I mention I'm excited? I don't think I've mentioned that I'm excited yet, but I am. See you on Instagram and see you in the next video, and thank you as ever for watching.